Hello everyone, Travis here, and welcome back to the channel. We are in the world of Open Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 today, again in the Mega Park. And for today's episode, we're going to be working exclusively, I believe, in this water park area. I want to get rid of this complex. I have for a really long time. It's just ugly, and it's not really, functional anyway. So I think I'm going to extend this water area back, and do some sort of, jet skis or something there. And then over here, I'm going to put in a kiddie area with some kiddie slides and a couple of flat rides that look like water rides because in this game, even in the custom category, there's not a whole lot of water ride options without doing a bunch of hackery and craziness. So we're going to keep it relatively simple back here and just make it look nicer and function a little bit better. And yeah, that's the extent of today's episode. So let's dive right in. All right, we are back and we are renovating this water park area. You'll see that the first thing I do is remove this complex like I mentioned earlier. I thought about maybe redoing it and putting slides that are actually functional there, but I just don't really have the desire to do all the fancy kind of tricks in this park. In my next park, whatever that turns out to be, I have a couple of ideas that I'm spitballing back and forth, but we'll definitely be including a lot more of those details. It's going to be a much smaller park, but probably much higher detailed is kind of the goal. I'm trying to balance my skill in this game with having fun with it, I found myself recently, obviously for a couple of years now, but especially in the last several months, being really kind of burnt out on this game and just not really finding it fun anymore. And I think part of that is because I feel way too much pressure to make things look a certain way or, have a certain aesthetic, and the overall quality of my work has improved, and so there's an expectation that people have of my projects and whatever, and that creates pressure. Maybe not a lot of pressure in general, but certainly I put pressure on myself because of that. And I've mentioned this in the past, but I'm definitely going to be shifting more towards a more fun aesthetic on this channel. And I know my voice can be pretty monotone and unemotional, but I do have some personality. I got a comment one time that said I had the personality of an armpit, which, whatever. Comments can be a little tough. I have to admit that it's hard sometimes to not let them get to me. But the fact of the matter is, if you're putting something out on the internet for people to see, I mean, that's part of what to expect. And so I typically just ignore those comments and don't even respond to them. Some people in the comments have actually defended me, which is really cool. So if you see something ugly and you feel like defending me, I would really appreciate that. But just know that it's all good. I'm fine, regardless of what kind of negativity people try to bring to the comments and to an otherwise fun experience. I started YouTube just because I wanted a place to show what I was working on and for the idea of having fun with it. And I never expected that it would be something that I actually make money with and that sort of thing. And so, when it grew into that, it's not easy sometimes to I guess shift kind of the mentality from, this is something that I do for fun versus something that actually brings me money. And not that there's a huge shift needed, because obviously people are watching my content and that sort of thing because they like what I do and how I am and whatever. But, it's not, especially nowadays with all the restrictions and stuff with YouTube, it's tough. It's not an easy thing to do. And so thank you for those of you who are still here with me. And for those of you who are new and, just barely finding out about me, welcome, and I hope that you will stay here for the long haul as well. Where have I been? I know that this is talked about in almost every video, but I am trying to maybe be more consistent. That was kind of the goal, but then, the holidays happened and I had family in town, and then I was out of town, and then into the new year, I had flight credit that was going to expire, so I went to Walt Disney World, and that was kind of, a crazy sort of experience. It was a lot of fun. Obviously, COVID restrictions and stuff have changed it since the last time I was there for, in some ways for the better. and I also did get a little bit of, crap from some of my friends and whatever about how, like, airline credit or not, like, I should be, staying at home and not blah, 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 that I chose money over my health, and I don't know. I definitely get it. Trust me. I'm not an anti-masker. I believe COVID is real and dangerous and all of those things. And, we won't go into the politics of it, obviously, but I was going stir crazy. I needed to get away. I had this flight credit that was going to expire. I was given a coupon for hotels at the Walt Disney World Resort, and et cetera, and it all just kind of fell into place. And we took it kind of easy and definitely followed all the protocols and what have you. So, yeah, that's what I've been up to. I just got back from Austin about a week ago from that whole excursion. In addition to Walt Disney World, I was with my sister for a while, and yeah, it was a thing. And so in that time, I wasn't able to do YouTube videos. I had maybe considered pre-recording, but by the time that became a thing, I just decided that I didn't want to do that. So, here I am like a month later posting a video. So what did we learn from this? We learned that I'm a liar. So don't ever, trust what I say when it comes to like schedules and timing and whatever. I will post videos as regularly as I feel like it. Like I said, I do intend to hold myself accountable to a schedule to some extent, but that's not like set in stone. I'm not able to do this full time. I do have a like relatively pretty much full-time job, a 30-hour a week job, and a couple of other things in my life that keep me busy. So this is definitely a part-time kind of side hustle and hobby at the same time. So thank you for understanding and for still being here. Views have been kind of really, really low lately as well. So, it's a little bit hard to continue justifying something that isn't really like doing a whole lot. And that's obviously my fault for not being consistent. I understand that. But at the same time, it's hard to spend hours and hours and hours playing and creating videos and whatever if it's only going to give me a few pennies on the dollar for my effort. I can make a lot more money doing something else, but obviously, as we've seen in other people's channels and whatever, this can grow into something pretty spectacular. So it's just kind of luck of the draw, and consistency is key, and all those things that people say, and et cetera, et cetera. But I'm happy to be here. I'm excited. It's cool to be back. It was nice playing Roller Coaster Tycoon today for the first time in a really long time. I find myself really rusty after a break like that, and you may notice that in some of the quality of the work today. I am also kind of rushing through this park to get it done. I was supposed to finish last year. That was kind of the New Year's goal. That didn't happen. I sort of expected it wouldn't. Every time I declare that, it never happens. I'm just going to stop saying it, and eventually the park will, be finished. We'll run out of space and whatever. This is a huge park, as I've mentioned in the past, 200 by 200 whatever tiles. It was obviously bigger than that at one point, but shrunk down and has been resized several times and whatever. I actually made it bigger recently, which is interesting, to add these hotels in the back from the last couple of episodes. And I like the way that area looks. It's got like kind of a jankiness to it, which is what I was going for with that. I didn't want it to look like a new, fresh Disney-style hotel. I wanted it to be a little bit more kind of like old and not as maintained, and definitely more budget than you would expect from a Disney park, because this is obviously not that. And I do in the future plan to work on something more Disney oriented. For those of you who have been here since the very beginning, my channel actually started with a Disney inspired park that I called Disney Village, and then I did a renovation of it at one point as well. So Disney is definitely not new to me. I am a Disney fan, and et cetera, et cetera. So I tend to like more scenery. It's like I have a lisp. I tend to like more scenery and theming, kind of that sort of feel over actual thrill rides and whatever. As I get older, I find myself being very much more prone to motion sickness and those kinds of things. So, I would take a nice, highly themed, highly detailed, highly interactive ride over something crazy thrilling any day. But I do tend to like airtime and big drops and those kinds of coasters more than the loops and dives and helixes and craziness. But yeah, so other than that, not a whole lot new with me. If anybody's going to Disney World this year in the next few months, comment down below and let me know. It's obviously still a little bit taboo to go on those kinds of trips right now. So just let me know that, or I'm just letting you know that you do have my support, and I hope you have the best time ever. And just the biggest advice I can tell you on that is like roll with the punches. It's not going to be as free spirited and magical as it was the last time you were there if you've ever been. If you haven't been there, you might not even know any better. But I did have a lot of fun. There's still a lot to do. There's a whole lot coming in 2021. Ratatouille's about to open at Epcot. Obviously, a lot of the fireworks shows and entertainment stuff is opening back up, and that's going to make the experience so much more, how it used to be, or like how it used to be, instead of the modified version that you have at the moment. Also, people are complaining about money when it comes to that. Honestly, like, I always recommend that you never go for full price anyway, so look for deals. Definitely the hotel deals can sometimes save you tons of money, especially if you're staying in like one of the higher end hotels. You can save hundreds of dollars with a deal. So, there's still tons to do there. You're not, like, the modified experience is not so modified that it's, like, you feel like you're not able to do anything. Most of the rides are open, and some of them are at, like, relatively full capacity now because they've added, dividers and plexiglass and things. They've just really done a good job over there of making it the magical experience that it always has been. But anyway, it looks like we're at the end of the video, so I'm going to thank you all for watching. Give this video a thumbs up if you like what you see, a thumbs down if you don't. Comment down below, let me know what you think of how things are going with this section of the park and this series, recently and so far. And subscribe if you haven't already. And with that said, you all have a great morning, afternoon, evening, night, etc., wherever you are in the world, and I will see you all next time.